hard breach ban. That's a very common thing to see in Clubhouse, and there it is, the Maverick. So Maverick is definitely one of the more versatile hard breach bans, because even if Thermite is banned, you can still take down that east wall with the Maverick. Like I was mentioning during the very first map we saw today, you can Maverick through the very top and the very bottom, just in a line, and basically cause the metal to fall off and turn it back into a soft wall. Now, Buck is the second ban, and that's pretty interesting because we don't normally see Buck bans. I imagine it's probably just to halt some of the very popular vertical play on this map. You know, shooting down into kitchen specifically is a very strong one, and then shooting up into CCTV.
So some pretty interesting bans. I don't think there's a lot of intel going around that's it's the AR's a little bit, Artemis a little bit on the confused side, as are we, but I don't know if this is a counter ban or a psychological warfare, or there's no telling exactly what's going on, but AR not happy about it. So, you know, I guess right now you could say Axios is technically winning the mental battle right now, and these totally unprecedented bans. But we've got Maverick on the board, we got Buck and Jaeger. It's going to be an interesting, much different combination than I think we're used to seeing. And I'm looking at the lineup right now from the defense. I don't see any Echo, and I don't see any Maestro. So that's interesting too. We'll see a Frost instead. So a lot of changes from what we've seen on Clubhouse in the first matchup today. We'll see IQ switch over to Bandit. We'll see that Frost switch over to Castle, as Gym and Bedroom will be the first site chosen by Act.
Yeah, we're already starting out with just a bunch of craziness going on. Gym Bedroom being the first site. Generally, Gym Bedroom's the third site. Teams really like going to CCTV Catch. Teams also like going to Church Arsenal. But honestly, Gym Bedroom is just a strange one to go for first. But hey, it might catch the attackers off guard. So Axios, we'll see how they respond to this. And they have brought a Jackal, so Jackal's not banned. Jackal brings a lot of, not only just the gadget of picking one person and just always knowing where they are, so the rest of your team can flank around, catch angles, and really good against roamers. But he also has a secondary shotgun, so he's got some hard breach, and he's got smoke grenades. So even more really good utility that not a lot of operators can bring. So overall, we can see why he's banned a lot, but in this game, there was a Buck banned instead.
Okay, remind me, who banned the Jaeger and the Buck?
The Jaeger and the Buck was the same team, and I believe it was blue.
Okay.
If I remember
so they ban atypical operators. We're seeing an atypical site. You know, I like this. I like seeing, you know, some teams flip the bird at the, you know, quote unquote meta, right? I think we're gonna have an interesting match in store. I think, despite the fact that this is probably the first competitive match that these two teams are playing as a cohesive team, besides those nerves and that uncertainty, like the uncertainty of like, we're not used to playing like this is added on top of that. And so because of that, we're going to see two things highlighted, I think. Number one is, I think we're going to see a lot of reliance on individual gunplay. Okay, number one. And then on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, I think that they're going to have to rely a lot on the team communication. And I know that sounds like, Chris, those are two completely opposite things, and you're absolutely right. And I think at different point in the stage, you're going to have to rely on those things differently and more heavily, right? So here we go, trying to get established onto the site. Thermite number one will go out, will get immediately banned. Meanwhile, Lupa will get the first kill onto Light. So the attackers, they'll lose a Thermite, but instead they'll actually gain the woman advantage, starting this round number one.
And Bazinga actually goes down, but she is Sophia, so the potential to pick herself back up. And now that looks like the bandit trick will fail the second time around, so Wolfie not managing to get both. And for this site, you honestly only really need one Thermite exothermic charge to open up everything you need. There's no other really big reinforcement that you want to break through here, so that's all they really need. And wasting that first exothermic charge isn't all that impactful anymore if you don't also get the second one. A little bit of a oddity about this site that's really interesting when you look at it.
Yeah, and that's kind of the funny thing about it. Swag, he'll pick up, or she will pick up one, rather, onto Bazinga. So that will bring the operator count to even. Only 30 seconds left. I don't think a single attacker, right as I say that, one in construction just runs in. But before that, I don't think anybody was in, and almost overlooks one behind the mattress. We'll see one in bathroom. We'll take one out too. Lupo with a two-piece cannot get all three. Lamp will find one of their own, but Swag and Arus, they'll answer right back. It's a 2v1. Kaid, the only one left alive. The site will get smoked out. The diffuser will go down. The time ticks away, but the diffuser will go down before the time expires, so no way to stop it, to do an insta-win. She's going to have to work to get this done. She notices that it's planted in the other site. She's going to expose herself to the window, but has to. She sees somebody outside. She'll run and jump out, but that will not do against the fully automatic gun of Ancient One on the Thermite. And we'll have Axios taking round number 1.
Yeah, and even if she didn't get killed from the person she was trying to jump out on, there was a second one holding a different angle outside, and it was just a really tough situation as soon as that plant went out. So I do really like Axios's. They really came into it with the plan after the plant went down, and they got to their positions immediately. Yeah, if they took a couple of seconds to hesitate and think about, oh, where should I be for this post plant, then they wouldn't have had nearly as much luck, basically holding that off. And one of them might have gotten picked as they were trying to rotate out, and you know, anything can happen in a 1v1. So we didn't end up seeing that happening, and Axios did get the main one there.
Bombs from being defused by attackers.
Get the main one there.
Get the win.
You can take those words. You can take those words to the bank, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Not opting to switch the site at all. Then we'll go back to map for a second attempt.
Attackers have discovered the location.
Bringing the castle out, castling off those windows. I think they did a fantastic job with the bandit trick. And I think if that bandit would have gotten the second thermite charge, it would have changed everything. Will she go back and attempt to bandit trick that wall? That remains to be seen. She will pre-place 2 batteries down, leaving 2 in her pocket for later. We do see some bodies over there as well. Setting up a little bit of utility. There's a shield right in front of the drone hatch, etc. We'll see Wolfie actually rotate to the other side, so apparently that's not going to be the plan this time around.
It is kind of strange to see them go back to gym bedroom despite having lost it the first time. Not only is it a standard site, but you lose it when you try to catch the opponent off guard. I guess they probably won't be expecting you to go to the same site once again. But we'll see if they have any specific changes in mind. It looks like their operators are going to be pretty similar to last time. So maybe they have something up their sleeve, a big flank, a big rotation, some extra use of utility or reinforcements that they think might end up securing them the win. That's a good start though. This time, Lupa goes down to Light. So Light will be the one to win out this battle, and that was a really big deal during the last round. The fact that the castle went down immediately after the round began.
I love that re-peek by Light, but she rotated back, and actually no Swag will be there to get, and oh no, the head just standing still. Bazinga, the easy second kill for her, and oh no, she'll tap the electrified wall, and that will do what it takes to take her down. Of course, no points in this mode, so they don't know, but they'll see her getting up. Wolfie will take her out in an unfortunate series of events there for Bazinga after picking up that 2-piece, but now we've got a even woman count on either side of the board. Still tons of time left. The remaining defenders all seemingly right around the site, not having much to do. I'm not sure what the Kaid's looking at. Oh, they did indeed open up that wall. You couldn't see it from that angle. So it looks like, meanwhile, while we were watching the action elsewhere, the Thatcher Thermite combo came to the jacuzzi wall and got that sucker open. They still have a lot of time to play with, so holding angles, sure, that works for a little while, but once you've established that they're not going to peek you, maybe perhaps it's time to move so you don't get into a situation like last time where the plant went down with about 3 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, hopefully not. And so far, the attackers, they've opened up pretty much everything they need to. The 2 deaths aren't super impactful. They're going to be missing, in terms of utility, they're going to be missing some concussion grenades, which help you push in, and they're going to be missing a set of smoke grenades, but they do still have the Capitao, and so that will be a very easy replacement for those smoke grenades, as he has smoke bolts instead. On top of that, he also has the asphyxiating bolts that will help flush out anyone in, say, bathroom, or cut off rotations if they try to go for a plant, and it looks like he'll start doing that right now. The rotations between bathroom are cut off. Another exothermic charge actually goes down, and Wolfie's going to get one, but Ancient One trades it back as well. Wolfie peeking out and getting us another one. Now it's a 1v2, 1v1 as Canadian gets the first pick but not able to get the second one. Aruz finishes that one out. And Artemis is going to take round number 2.
Interesting play there at the end. You know, the attackers just seem stalled out at the end there, all of them on Jacuzzi. And they had the wall open in that position at about 138, if I remember correctly, left in the round. And they had a drone in pocket to start to go in and gather information, but that drone didn't go in until there was like 30, 40 seconds left. So, I mean, they all just kind of sat there holding kind of the same angle for what I think was way too long. And unfortunately, at that point in time, they had to push in late. You know, Thatcher moved into the main hallway there and got pretty deep, got spotted out by the camera, so they knew that he was there. But if they had more time to work with, he could have rotated back out. They could have maybe pushed the bathroom a little bit harder, or even maybe tried to sneak into the corner there in the gym and go for a plant. Either way, they stalled out for too long, especially if you have a drone at your disposal. If you have any sort of information gathering tool at your disposal, one person's enough to do the angle, have one other person hop onto the drone, right? And then have the third person, which they had 3 left, follow behind that drone, acting on whatever intel that drone is able to feed them.
So despite going to the same site twice in a row after they lost the first time, Artemis still managed to win the second time and on gym bedroom. So again, substandard site, but they still make it work. This time they'll be heading to a bit more of a standard site. There's an interesting pest right out in the middle of the floor that'll probably be pretty easy to spot. But Church Arsenal is definitely a lot more common of a defensive site, and we're going to see them probably be a little bit more comfortable on it too.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it was me playing on the other team, that my drone would now be their drone. But it's not going to cut it at this level. Yeah, sticking it right out in the middle. Vigil will be on a roam. We'll get some bullets put down on him. I think that he impacted the wall to try and do a little bit of a run out, but that was very quickly anticipated and counteracted.
A bomb has been located.
He will rotate elsewhere to lick his wounds. As that happens, the drones will know that he is nearby, but he is staying in motion. The attacker's very concentrated on him right now. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of motion going on. Meanwhile, upstairs, one will go down. That's the Mozzie and get finished off by Lupa. Camera goes down too. That's the Jackal upstairs with a teammate. No damage being done to the attackers at all so far. A 1 operator advantage, 1 minute deep into round number 3.
1 operator advantage, and there's a Jackal on the board who can potentially track the Vigil. So he's tracking him right now. So it forces the Vigil to run back to site, and that means that the attackers just basically get all the space outside of the basement. Look at that. All 4 remaining defensive members on the side of Artemis are all down in the basement. It basically gives Axios whatever they want to do.
What is that bandit doing?
Where's Bandit?
Is the bandit sitting at the...
Ooh,
what is that bandit doing? I'm not sure. I'm
guess
not sure
it's
how I feel
unexpected.
about this. I don't see a situation ever where there's not a drone. Meanwhile, Thatcher will get downed and then finished off by Light up through the floor in kitchen, and that's the roamer that had to retract back down to site due to the Jackal, and Swag fully committed to these stairs. I really want to see the action, but I really want to see if this pans out, right? Because this is an interesting scenario. Arus will find one with the Alda. That's onto Lupa. Light will find one onto Bazinga. So that is now just 2 remaining on the side of Axios. 1 working the hatch. Lamp finally going down main stairs. Is it going to happen? Holding the angle. Will it work? It will. The patience pays off. Swag with the surprise. Only 2 left. No drones coming out. That was an interesting turn of events there. A YOLO hatch drop will not even make his ankle drop through the hatch before he is finished off. And that will be Artemis winning an easy round.
Yeah, Artemis was in complete control of that round pretty much from the start. They got so many frags, all the frags that they needed. The only thing, they lost a roamer, but the roamer did his job. He bought time. He made the attackers question where they should be. And one thing I do want to mention is that Axios didn't really do enough with the map control that Artemis gave them. With the visual returning to site, the fact that he was spotted out by the Jackal, that was a lot of map control that they had, and they just didn't really manage to do anything with it. They didn't push the right angles. They got picked up through the floors that they were breaking. They got picked through the
Attackers
hatches.
need to
It
locate
just
and defuse as many bombs as
it
they
sort
can.
of fell apart after they got the map control. So the execution is definitely something that they want to clean up a bit more of. I think Ty mentioned it earlier, is that some of the deaths that they had could have been just completely prevented by some good drone play, and they didn't have that information either.
So in ranked and comp, you got to use those drones. You got to use that intel. And not only that, but you got to use that intel when it's fresh, because the intel quickly rots away into useless information. As a matter of fact, it could work very much against you if you don't act on it within a certain amount of time. So here we go, back to what some would say is the new most preferred site on Clubhouse, or at least as good as Basement after the rework. And that would be Cache CCTV. So here we go, round underway. Looks like a lot of the defense hanging out upstairs. We've seen a lot of roaming coming out so far, but not so much this time around.
Not so much. And going back to the very first map we saw today, one of the attacks worked very well because there was no roamer on the first floor for this site. So there's not an IQ for the attackers this time, so that will play in the favor of the defense. But Wolfie actually just getting a quick pick onto Lamp from a looks like an incredibly long angle, shooting all the way from CCTV out onto the balcony as soon as someone climbs up. All right, really good preparation there by Wolfie.
That was a very risky, very dirty kill by Wolfie right there. And to do the dance, do the UWU in chat, and then get healed up right after. Ouch. That's okay. It's not down and out. Capital and all of his utility, and that is a lot of utility completely wiped away. Still plenty of time, though, for the attackers to regroup.
Yeah, 1 minute and 40 seconds. There's absolutely enough time for them to rotate around to get whatever angles they want or replace someone who is supposed to be holding a different angle. However, the fact that they're missing Capital's asphyxiating bolts is pretty big. Those can cut off rotations. They can flank. They can force defenders out of very held-down positions, and they just don't have that anymore. They have to rely on the smoke grenades and the Zofia cluster or concussion grenades. Lupo peeks around the corner real quick, picks off Light, but gets flanked on herself. Actually, that's going to be someone shooting from upstairs. Wolfie not quite able to get the kill, but does a decent amount of damage to Lupo.
Yeah, Bree peeks that hole and will absolutely lose. Wolfie with their second kill of the round, 4-3. Wolfie feeling very confident, and rightly so. She's going to peek the window again, find the head of Canadian. Meanwhile, Swag will find one, 1v4. Now it's time to, oh no, as Bazinga will Ella herself, somebody being so close to the doorway, not peeking time. Wolfie, bloodthirsty, will find the last one onto Bazinga. And that will be a 4 for Wolf.
Wolfie's aim has been on point so far, just getting, I think 3 of those kills were headshots, and some of them were pretty good flicks as well, so gotta shout out Wolfie for the crazy good plays there. I really like how unexpected it was for Artemis to push out ahead, especially like Wolfie pushing out forward after his teammate had been Zofia concussive grenaded. So I don't think Zofia really expected whoever to peek the corner to not be concussed and have like such a good shot and have a good solid foundation of aim. So that was just another thing that was unexpected by them that worked out really well.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
It certainly did. So here we go. Round number 5. Artemis seeming to pull away slightly. It's certainly not over nor anywhere close just yet. Axios needs to do something to bring it back. Now's the time. Try and bring it back before the swap, before the half. Make their job a little bit easier. So here we go, back up to master bedroom. They won 1, lost 1. The most recent being the win. So they'll spread out, they'll set it up pretty much the same way that they did before. And I remember the last time that they did that, that's the time that the bandit actually went away from attempting, as the C key gets just tested, make sure that it's not sticking, you know, that stinky key. Anyway, make sure that, or last time she tricked, almost got it, right? Missed it just by a hair. And the next time she didn't attempt to trick, they actually won it. So an interesting turn of events there. But I guess maybe the aggressive gunplay is needed from Wolfie, the way that we've seen her play so far, versus trying to take that utility up.
So Axios almost ran the exact same lineup as they had the past couple rounds, but they 6-picked off of the Jackal and onto a Hibana, which for this site doesn't really get you too much. They had to figure that Artemis was going back up to gym bedroom because they had won the last 2 sites, which were Cash and Church, and they're obviously not going to go to bar. So the only choice left is up here in gym bedroom. But the Hibana doesn't really help you out too much. There's not all that much that you need to open. The best they're going to do is basically force any potential bandit trick to choose between tricking Hibana or tricking the Thermite. Doesn't look like they're even going to go with that gambit either, as a Kaib is going to be used instead. But the EMP will immediately kill it, and that leaves the Jacuzzi wall completely open.
Wow, what a play by Lupa. Lupa, we've seen 2 times in a row just out, I guess, reaction timing her opponent, and doing a fantastic job at that. Once we saw at the top of cash stairs, this time right in that one we just saw. This first smoke will come out only a minute and a half into the round. So getting those smokes out from the main stairs, very good. Lupa, she'll find her second. Bazinga will follow that up with a kill of her own. And just like that, it's a 5v1, not even a point of damage being taken at all by Axios. And it will be a perfect, flawless, damageless round from Axios after going down 3-1. And that's exactly what Axios needed to do to get right back into this.
And a round that ended after 2 minutes. They didn't even need the entire 3 minutes of the round. They just completely flawlessed that round. It was really, really nice gunplay across the board on the side of Axios, and it's something that you really like to see, especially after going down 3 rounds in a row. So I'm glad they started to find their footing, and we'll see if they can turn that into momentum. And that's probably the most important part, is making sure that you can keep the game rolling in your favor. Almost a 6-pick into Cav, but Light actually switches off to Vigil instead. Or back to Cav, or Ella. Ella. Looks like it's going to be Ella locked in.
Attackers need
They're
to
just
locate
trying to
and
confuse
defuse
you, Azaraki. Don't you know everybody's out to get you?
Yeah, it seems like it.
Here we go back down to basement. A win. So they are 1-2 upstairs. They are 1-0 downstairs. Them being Artemis on their final defensive go. So feeling probably pretty confident. I feel like the win was a little bit on the hefty side. The last time they were down there, they had that roaming Vigil at the time. Got found out pretty quickly, was able to escape back down and got some shots up through the floor. We had that interesting bandit hanging out on main stairs play, which actually somehow ended up working. I'm curious to see if that's going to repeat itself this time around. You know, fool me once, fool me twice sort of scenario on that one. But hey, I ain't gonna judge. I'd just like to watch it. You know what I mean? It's just as entertaining for me as it is for you guys probably out there. So we'll wait and see on that deal. But we got the roaming Mozzie hanging around. We actually got a couple of roamers if the outline are doing it justice.
Now, quick reminder to everyone that this is Clubhouse, defensive-sided map. So being 3-2 so far is fine by them, but if they want to be in a good position, they should probably win this round as well and bring it to 4-2. Generally, teams tend to win 2 defensive sites here and then lose the third. Just an average rule of thumb. So we'll see what they'll be able to do this time around and if Artemis can make that prophecy true. Meanwhile, Axios, they decided to go with the Hibana again. Definitely makes more sense for this site, which has a bunch of different hatches that you can take control of and a few, like the church wall reinforced that you can use a exothermic charge for. Meanwhile, Lupa Plays gets a headshot onto Wolfie, and Wolfie has been a pretty good performer so far in these last couple of rounds, so that's a frag that they definitely like. Same with Bazinga taking out Light. Already, 2 kills ahead are Axios.
Yes, they are indeed. And I'm not even sure that opening kill was an intended kill. I think she might have just been opening the window. Unfortunately, we just saw it right at the tail end of the kill, so we can only guess. But yes, Lupa's been doing a fantastic job here in the last couple of rounds, and now up 5-3. Axios on the verge of tying this sucker up before the break. They will get the kitchen hatch open, but now all of Artemis are just comfortably sitting on site, waiting for the eventual onslaught that will come from Axios
Attackers
at
have
some
located a
point.
bomb.
Till then, not much that they can do. Roamers have been eliminated, so sit and wait is what they must.
That's a really fast time to be completely free of roamers as well. To clear both roamers out and be completely safe from them after 1 minute, 20 seconds is pretty huge. But they need to be careful not to sit on their laurels for too long as Lupa peeks around the corner, gets a headshot onto Aruz, leaves us with a 2v5, and this is a situation 2v1 as Bazinga peeks around the corner and gets swag as well. Now, Madeline is the only one left who can finish the round. It is Smoke, and we've seen some pretty impressive Smoke plays earlier today. However, with 32 seconds left, she needs to do way more than just deny the defuser, and she can't even deny the defuser. Peeks around the corner, gets a headshot onto Lupa, but she doesn't see the head of Ancient One peeking around the box right behind the bomb, and Axios will tie it up 3-3.
You know, it was a 3-5, yes, but I think that was a very winnable situation still for the defense until that peak. Until that peak when it was 3-5, and I can't remember who it was. I'm pretty sure it was the Maestro that did the peak, but basically threw their life away at that point in time. And now with the 5v2, it just becomes too many angles with the hatch open, with Moto open, with main stairs, with Blue. I don't think Dirt was in the running for where the attackers could come from, but that just gets overwhelming for 2v5, right? And the trade, I mean, at a 2v5, you can kill two for a one, a 2-for-1 trade, and you still lose. So when you're in that position, it just gets too overwhelming. And that's what it was, for the attackers. They just had to pick them apart. And now it goes from a 3-1 to a 3-3. So there we go, finishing the half with a tie scoreline. And like you said, yes, defense is a little bit more favored statistically than the offense. So now Axios is sitting in the driver's seat going into their defensive half.
Yep, and Axios so far are playing this a lot more standard. Their first site is going to be CCTV cache instead of gym bedroom. And really nice Maestro cam up there is going to be able to see anyone who tries to walk through the east door once it gets opened. And in terms of denial, we have a couple of C4s, but we also have an Echo, which I don't think we've seen an Echo yet during this map specifically.
I don't think we have either, which is an interesting tidbit. But hey, maybe that's just not their style. Here we got the Echo and the Maestro, something that you hardly ever see in comp these days. So this should be an interesting. Banned. Yeah, they're usually banned. If one at least, right? It's usually one or the other, guaranteed. And then Mira, always. So it's interesting to see the combo in play. We got the Bandit prepped and ready to go on the Bandit tricking there. Of course, Maverick not in play, so not as easy to stop the Bandit trick from happening. Not impossible, but a grenade will be bounced. I think tried to be snuck through the drone hole, will bounce right back. No, it's from underneath. Where were you throwing that? Maybe missed time trying to throw it up at the ceiling. That must have been it. That must have been it. Either threw it too soon, it bounced off the ceiling, it came back down, or threw it too late and it exploded in their hand. Meanwhile, Wolfie will see something on that cassette, but not able to land the shots. Unfortunate, as she was right on target with somebody on their phone up top. So very unfortunate self-kill from the Sledge. Wolfie will start working on the barb on stairs and start making noise. Here comes a peek around the corners. He looks away at the wrong time. Meanwhile, gets shot in the back. Somehow still alive. Getting shot in the back from stairs. Why don't you turn around? Decided to commit to the person in garage and did it incorrectly. Lupa get that kill open. Well, I say the opening kill, even though it's 5v3, and it really is. Lupo, she'll find a second downstairs, and we've just seen the Bandits today going absolutely banana.
Artemis so far have been playing their attack very split up, way too split up, and Bazinga gets yet another kill. Madeline goes down, and still not a single trade, not even an attempt at a trade. Every single kill so far this round has been just someone shooting someone else and getting away scot-free. That's not what you want to see whatsoever if you're the attackers on this side. So At this point, they should already start thinking about what should happen next round. It's a 1v5. Everyone on the side of Axios are in very good position, and they have an Echo and a Maestro and Legion. There's just so many obstacles that the one has to go through here. I don't think a 1v5 is going to be possible. We'll see the first challenge in Garage through the motorbikes, but Aruz, very careful, needs to watch out for all of the angles from every single doorway there is on this half of the map. 20 seconds left. I'm just not seeing too much of an avenue in. She's going to have to rush in and see what she can do. Peeking around the left side, will get the first kill. Ruse puts it down to a 4v1. Gumine's going to reveal her position even more now, as if they didn't already know. Peeking up the stairs. All they need to do is play it safe. Doesn't matter, as Axios flanks around from the lower side and takes her out.
Axios looking completely different than they started, down 3-1. Now up 4-3, chaining together 3 rounds straight. 2 of those 3 rounds completely flawless, not losing a single person. Actually, I lied. They did get a kill right there at the end in that 1v5. So one was flawless, one was near flawless. Either way, they took the W, which at the end of the day is all that matters. They took the round off of Artemis, and here we go into round number 8 with Axios taking their first round, or their first lead rather, of the game so far.
As I was saying before during the last round, Artemis, what they should do is they should refocus their attack. They were completely spread out, no potential for refrags, no refrags. The only kill they got was just a clean 1v1 kill after everyone else had died in a 1v5. It's just not a situation that you want to find yourself in as attacker. And a lot of that comes to either an attacker playing more patient, waiting until she has teammates to help her out either by the refragging or holding a different angle, putting pressure on the defenders so that they have something else they might need to focus on instead of the doorway she's about to peek. Yeah, there's a lot of different communication and team-wise things that they could be fixing up here, and it's possible that losing a few defensive rounds in a row might have rattled them. It's a little bit too early to really see, but this attack is going to be very telling, whether they can buckle down and really refocus their attack, or if they keep doing this thing where they just get picked over and over.
You know, time remains to be seen. So have to sit and wait and see exactly what happens. But meanwhile, Axios is holding the baton at this point in time. Everything really is leaning in their favor. They're having no problems whatsoever. Losing somebody at the very end of the round in a 1v5 is kind of the biggest of the problems they've had in the recent several rounds. And so they're very fluid right now. They're feeling very comfortable. They're roam. They're all over the place, as a matter of fact, holding angles, waiting, seeing exactly what goes down. And yeah, just feeling comfortable overall. Can they come back? Well, Castle will get some damage done to them. Not sure from where, but will manage to escape for now. But oh no, what terrible timing. Wolfie with a headshot. F and chat swag going down to the team kill. Unfortunate, especially after losing 3 straight for AR to lose a person to a team kill.
Yeah, things just not going the way they want, and that's got to hurt the mentality too. Already being down 2 rounds, the last round was 2 rounds that were, one of them was almost flawless, the other one was flawless, and just from complete disorganization on their attack, they really have to buckle down in order to get their mentality together. And so far, it seems like they might be trying right now, as we have one person watching the stairs for any flanks. Meanwhile, the rest of the team pushes forward. Exothermic charge goes down. They open up the church wall. But we are seeing people stacking on the same angles. They're going to push through. And the plant actually starts going down. Light covering him really well as Ancient One goes down to a headshot. Aruz gets another one on top of that, but Lamp and Bazinga trade it back. Going for the cross, Wolfie manages to take a headshot onto Lamp. Diffuser goes down. Bazinga needs to rotate back to site, but Wolfie hears it. Wolfie with a headshot onto Bazinga, and now we see Artemis in complete control of the site as Canadian needs to figure out where she needs to attack from, but Wolfie from the hatch will take him down as well. Artemis really bring things back in their favor.
Yeah, good plays there by Wolfie. Good game sense by Wolfie there. Finish things out. And that's exactly what they needed to kind of stay in contention here. Now, nobody's pulled away. It wasn't game over for anybody. But think about like one round could be the difference between being down 2 rounds or being tied. And so when those things start to slip, it gets more and more difficult, especially as we get into the higher rounds, where now you're looking at perhaps, approaching match point or the other team approaching match point. So well played by them. Nobody's lost their head. I'm surprised this has turned out to be the best match that we have seen thus far tonight, tied 9 rounds deep. We haven't, as a matter of fact, 7-4 was the closest scoreline that we've seen. We saw that last map. So we're headed into perhaps more
need to locate and defuse as many
close territory, if you will, as the rounds progress, perhaps even some overtime.
Just when we think one team is going to start running away with it, the other one starts to surprise us. First it was Axios getting themselves together after a couple of attacking losses. Then Artemis, they go down a few rounds, one of which was flawless, and they bring it back. So both of these teams have pretty good mental resilience, and neither of them are very easily shaken, as we've seen, by misfortunes, especially when Swag gets team killed as well, and they still win the round, despite that team kill happening. It wasn't prompted by one person got a kill, and the other person just happened to cross their sight lines, and it was an accidental team kill. Obviously it was accidental, but they didn't get anything out of it either. So the fact that all of these things can happen, and they still win the round, shows really well for them.
Yes, it does. So, back downstairs for Axios. It's kind of unfortunate to lose your first basement defense. And this, they'll actually reinforce the wall completely. If I'm not mistaken, because I glanced at the last second, I was looking at my producer chat. I think they reinforced completely in between Church and Blue. Am I not mistaken?
They did. They completely reinforced between Church and Blue.
So, just an update in the Sinister and Victorious Secret game. The administration had talked about the whole rehosting situation.
Activated device.
And I think it's still being discussed, perhaps. Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that's going down right now, but it looks like it's going to be a win, but perhaps a round will be added to Sinister's overall total. Either way, still going to be a win for Victoria's Secret. Again, not a fun situation. We tried to be fair and handle it the best way that we can for everybody, but either way, fantastic job, Victoria's Secret, and they will retain that win. So here we go into this game, 4-4. Mr. Azaraki Bazenga toying with that entrance to the main stairs, but Light will kick things off, finding the head of Lamp. That will be the Maestro down, and that beautiful Alda you can defend into the late round with that ACOM gone as well. Wolfie will hold the same angle from the bottom of main stairs that she did last time, cutting off rotations. And here comes shots coming through the doorway, through Moto. Will connect, but not take anyone down.
The exothermic charge will get destroyed, and I believe that's both of them down, unfortunately, as Canadian gets one kill and Bazinga gets another, down to a 4v3, and so far the attackers have been pushing very quickly, but it seems to have backfired as they find themselves in a position where they can't rotate out of. Aruz not managing to get the head, but Swag will find it instead, bringing us down to a 2v3, and the attackers, they still have the potential to win this out. 40 seconds left is plenty of time to work with, and they have control of the diffuser. They'll finally start to try to get this wall open, and it seems like they will be able to. Ooh, Swag almost getting her head taken off on the cross. But at this point, she's in a very bad position. She needs to cross again, and she does manage to do it. Canadian almost goes down. Bazinga takes the kill onto Swag, and now Aruz is left alone. Has to go find the diffuser. She will find one as Bazinga goes down. And with 10 seconds left, all they really have to do on the side of Axios is wait, and they have a Echo still left alive, but Echo, ooh, the drone can't latch to the ceiling just yet, and the diffuser will go down. Oh no, that's not good for the defense here, especially as Canadian only has about 2 hit points left, and they're hunting for Aruz now. Ancient One trying to make as little noise as possible as she flanks around. They're going to try to attack from both angles at the exact same time. Ancient One, Aruz will find the first kill. Canadian goes down, but he was the one that was low health. Now we're down to a clean 1v1. Still plenty of time left. The diffuser will start getting diffused. Aru's forced to peek around the corner, is going to start rushing for it, but she hears it. Ancient One goes down, Aru's defends the plant, and Artemis win a very close round.
Wow, what a great job at both situational awareness to get that diffuser stuck, even though she didn't know where the other two were. And also, I'm not sure she was getting fed intel from her team or she was using sound cues. It doesn't matter how she did it. That 1v2 with the plant or actually the 1v3, excuse me, with the plant and then cleaning up the rest of the defense. A great job at the end of that round. And Artemis, a very hard-earned round for them, will put them back in the lead. Once again, they were up 3-1. Eventually, Axios put a string of wins together. It was 4-3 and now 5-4 in favor of Artemis once again.
As many bombs as they can.
5-4, Artemis find themselves in the lead off the back of some pretty great individual play as well. So they've definitely brought their attack back into order. And that round started off looking good, and then it started looking bad, and then it's good again. Because Artemis played that attack very quickly. They were down into the basement. They dropped Moto with 1 minute 30 seconds left on the clock. They weren't unfortunately able to get, so that's when they looked like they were in control. They had a lot of map control, they got an early pick, everything was going really well for them, and then they couldn't get the church wall open. It just kept getting tricked because there was both a bandit and a Kaid, so they lost the exothermic charges and they stagnated. And that allowed Axios to start catching up. But that didn't seem to matter either, as Artemis was able to clutch it out. So back and forth rounds across the board, and definitely exciting ones too. So this is a great game to end the day on.
It is indeed, and you saw that kill feed there, not feed, but the scoreboard. Lupa and Bazenga both doing a lot of slaying for their team, and I've been noticing their names pop up time and time again. Look at that, 11, 11, 12. The rest of their team just miles behind them. Just a two-woman wrecking crew, the two of them, Lupa and Bazenga, doing a lot of work for Axios. But unfortunately, on the side of Artemis, they had a couple of Slayers working it themselves. Lamp will get damaged right there, I think, by her teammate. So that's an unfortunate situation. Maybe shooting a drone or something along those lines. So that will be the Alda wielder, losing about half their health in the process. 1 minute off the clock. Finally, a little bit of map control being taken now by Emo.
And Artemis will be having a lot of fun with the map control as Lupa actually gets taken down, but it looks like it's from the window, so nobody able to confirm that kill quite yet, and she's able to crawl back until in range of Doc's stim pistol. So still back to a 5v5, make that a 4v5 as Wolfie finds another headshot. She's been a star player for this team so far. Unfortunately loses the angle for a sec, but she'll be able to climb back up in no time flat. The defuser is in the hands of Artemis, so they still have enough time to do whatever they want. The east wall is open, so they're having a few angles as well. No one's pushing up through east stairs, and nobody's pushing up through garage too, so actually not as much map control on the side of Artemis that I thought.
No, not quite yet. Still plenty of time to play with, 1 minute left, and they're able to hold angles from that window, kind of limiting the defense's movements in certain areas, depending on rotations, etc. Ancient One's got that yokai drone prepped on top of the dresser, not on the ceiling yet. Eros, in the meantime, will actually find said drone immediately after I talk about it. That will be that one down. I'm not sure what the status of the other one is. We'll have some fighting, some bullets going back and forth. And I believe, you know, the attack kind of creeping in. They haven't committed to it, but right as I say that, light turn in the corner will end the life of Lamp. 5v3 now. Bullets still going back and forth, but complete control. Wolfie will find one of her own. 2v5. The plant will go down uncontested in sight. The camera will go out. We've got Ancient One underneath. On the ping, will shoot up through the floor, do some damage, but not finish the job. So the diffuser will go down, and it's still a 5v2. Ancient One seemingly going away from sight. So this is going to be a very long rotation for a very slow operator to complete. Meanwhile, as she gets a kill, of course. Meanwhile, the castle duking it out on the site. Light finishing her off. So now a 1v5, making the long rotation. But no sirree, Bop Swag ready for it. Artemis, now after losing 3 straight, have come back, chained several together. And that brings Team Artemis to match point.
Yeah, forcing match point, and I didn't think it would end in this sort of situation right now, but here we are. And one thing that do have to shout out is even though Artemis didn't have map control all around the site, they brute forced their way through construction, took control of cache, and then just basically fully prevented anyone from the offense from returning to site and basically retaking the site. So that's a play that I didn't think would work as well as it did. But one reason I'm thinking about that is that why was Ancient One downstairs in the first place? She's an Echo. She should be holding down the anchor. She should be using the yokais to disorient people, bring her team into advantageous gunfights, deny plants, use the ACOG that she has to hold long angles. But she was downstairs playing this sort of flanking sort of game, so I'm not really sure why she was down there, but had she been on site, maybe cache wouldn't have fallen so easily. It's hard to know, only playing speculatives, but that's one of the things that stuck out to me.
Yeah. You know, it's been a thrilling matchup so far. Axios kind of had a couple of their players just be the absolute slang machines that they've been, and that was, you know, had a big part in the rounds that they've won. Now is the point in time against match point where you got to lean back on those teammates that may not have been having the best game. And I'm not saying that they're not doing anything, which they absolutely are. And of course, kills don't necessarily mean anything at all at this type of play. But now, if there's somebody struggling, if there's somebody having a bad time, there's somebody not getting their job done, now is the time that they need to buckle down and do it, because you are not down and out at all. It's kind of daunting to look up against or look up at that scoreboard and see the other team on match point. But 2 rounds and you're right back in this, and you've strung 3 rounds together just a moment ago. So they'll need to buckle down and get it done if they want to come back into it. Meanwhile, Artemis needs to keep doing what they're doing and ride that train, and it will be finished and over with in just a round's time. Who can prevail? Only time will tell as we enter match point, round number 11.
Setting charge.
And we're seeing a gym bedroom defense here for the side of Axios, despite the fact that they lost the last 2 rounds. So they're figuring, hey, maybe this little switch up will be the thing that lets us win a couple rounds. But Light will get the first kill, and Wolfie gets a little bit of damage on someone else. Actually, it was the same person, so they're able to confirm that kill. But Swag gets one as well. Canadian goes down, and that means this entire half of the map has been locked down for the attackers. Axios have been flushed out completely of construction, and now a very aggressive peek by the Zofia gets a little bit of damage on Lamp, but doesn't really get too much damage herself. The concussion grenade will immediately drop to the ground after getting locked down there. But the concussion charge will let them push into the site. Wolfie gets one, Lupa plays, gets another as Wolfie goes down. That's a trade, but peeking into the bathroom, Light immediately wraps around the corner. Swag takes out Lupa, and Artemis will win this round 7-4.
A swarm onto site. It was tied 4-4 at one point. I didn't see this going 7-4, especially after how we saw Axios play the previous several rounds. But Artemis completely, I didn't see Artemis have any problem attacking the site there at the end, and they will walk away. Match number 1, the Vic 10-3. Look at the other teammates step